My childhood friend tried to seduce me during my stay at her place for Christmas. She then gets mad at me for rejecting her. Did I do anything wrong? I finished my college degree of construction engineer, followed up by graduation day on late November, and to my surprise, I was able to find a job similar to my interests, but although at a very low pay of $20 per hour. However, the pay was not an issue if I will be able to garner some experience in the field. The big issue lies within the location of the job. I usually live in Perth, Australia, and my job is located in Sydney, the other side of Australia. And considering the current house markets for rent, it would be very hard to find an ideal place for me. My mum found out about my ordeal and contacted one of her close friends who was living in Sydney at the time. It turns out that there was this one girl who is currently living in the apartment alone and is willing to let me stay for a month at a fair weekly price of $150. I was happy enough to take it and we made arrangements. I asked my mother's close friend if it was really okay for me to live with a girl alone in the apartment for a month. She told me that I actually knew her very well since high school, and immediately I realized that it turns out to be my childhood friend. Let's call her Ashley. We go way back since kindergarten. We had a lot of fun memories together throughout our time, but I only saw her like a sister. But she was like someone who I could talk to about anything at all my secrets and embarrassing moments. I remembered how everyone in the family had the idea that we were destined to be together because of how well we get along and did a lot of things together. However, I only retained my image of her as my little sister. And that high school was the last time I ever spent time with her since we both had different interests in our future degree, so we had to separate our ways to different colleges. I wouldn't imagine her to be lonely since she has a boyfriend in high school. 6 days later, I have finally arrived to her apartment. Ashley was happy to see me and greeted me with a hug. She helped me carry some of my luggage back to her apartment. After I settled, we decided to hang out for the sake of old times and talked a lot about things during our college life. I asked her how she is with her boyfriend, and she told me that they broke up because things didn't work out. Things then went awkward and I just steered the conversation away by saying how I found a job here in Sydney. From there on, we continued to live together throughout the month. However, as the days progressed, Ashley's behavior was unusual. I did not want to make any assumptions, but there are times where she leaves her panties in my bedroom, or when I wake up to days with her sleeping right beside me in bed. She would also often wear very revealing clothing even without a bra. However, these could be small mistakes since she is used to living in this apartment alone by herself and that she is used to my presence to her home. And I did not think about it much since my mind was distracted from work. However, during the last week of my stay, there was that one night where she would masturbate and moan very loudly to the point that it echoes the entire apartment. I do not know if this is on purpose because I couldn't sleep very well during that night. I asked her the next morning if everything was okay with her, and surprisingly she answered with a question that threw me off guard. She asked me what I think of her, and I immediately answered that you are just like a sister to me. She immediately appeared to be in distress and walked out of the apartment. I followed her asking if I ever did anything to make her act like this. She told me to leave her alone and I did just that. For the next following days, she became more distant and avoided talking to me during my last days spent with her. I do not know what to do about this. I tried talking to her about it, but she only pushed me away. So when I left, I hoped that she would find her peace. And also she blocked me on all her socials. So that's that.